देवी के हे नंद सुन कुतः
I'm giving control to stop this light. Share when you are ready.
देवी के चललिते हे नंद सुन कुतः श्री गोवर्धन पादपतले कालिंदी बने कुतः धीरा धीरा जन कृष्ण कीर्तन गान नर्तन प्रभु प्रेमामृतां बनिधि वीर वीर जन प्रिय प्रिय करो पूजित श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरौ भुवि भुव भारा वहन तारक वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुगौ श्री जीव गोपालक वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुगौ श्री जीव गोपालक कृष्ण कीर्तन गान कीर्तन गान नर्तन परम प्रेमा वीर वीर जन प्रिय प्रिय करो.
What is going on today? Your students are not coming.
They need to be seriously talked about. Talk to me. It's like when there's any festival, they think that the festival is, so important, so much important that you don't need to even spend any day, any hour to attend any program except the festival.
No, but say festivals, it has a spirit of making your mind unbalanced and forgetting what you are supposed to do.
It's immaturity. It's immaturity.
So let's continue to enjoy Prabhupada now.
Let me start the Radha Madhava, then we start with those who are here. At least
you can stop from your side. I gave you control, slide control. You will see it.
Where is it? Okay.
You stop sharing. Stop sharing.
Wait. Stop participants sharing.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm teaching you how to take control.
Yes, it's necessary. We learn every day gradually. Hare Krishna, back to Sai Lucky. Are you there? Are you actually there? You are muted.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to you.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat, all glories to you. We are not seeing your team at all. The Benin team. Nobody is.
We went for Abiyokuta Jamastami, so they are engaged in some services there. Tita Damodara, both of them.
But they should have situational intelligence. What you are doing, you cannot just abandon it. We are just fully focused on the other. They're supposed to arrange their timing in a way that they will participate in this one also. Huh?
Like me now, you can say I'm hiding inside the bus so that I can attend the class.
So you should tell them to come attend the class somehow. Otherwise, I will sanction them, honestly.
Okay, let me talk to them now.
Talk to them now. Otherwise, I will sanction.
Okay.
We don't take this.
Okay.
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janava Jaya Girivardhari Jai Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janava Jaya Girivardhari Jai Girivardhari Jaya Yasodhanandana Jaya Brajajana Jana Jaya Jasudhanandana Jaya Brajajana Jana Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Jaya Radha, Govinda Radha, Govinda Jaya Radha, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Devi Subhadra, Jaya Gauranita, 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 Jaya Gauranita. Nisingade, Narasingade, Narasingade, Jaya Nisingade. Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev, Niti Guru Haribol, 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 Gaura Haribol, Jai Sri Sri Bhakti Shastri ki, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Iskon Guru Vrinda ki, Jai Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki, Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki, Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande, Haribol, all glory to the Assembly Buddhist, Hare Krishna. Jai Namo Vishnu Pada Krishna. Magyana Chandranda Syagana Yanasda Shasam Sri Chaitanya Manapistans Mukam Kartu Vashanam Pangumam Yate Grinyat Aham Sri Gurudinapa Panchakapatar Shaka Pasindam Krishna Vaishnava Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna, please on your videos. Yeah, thank you for being here. First of all, let me say it is demotivating and demoralizing for a teacher to be there and the students are not there. It is very clear that the interest is low. Other things are more attractive than this program we are doing. And when we begin to sense this, we take it very, very seriously. Because anything worth doing is worth doing well. Everybody has some other things to do, but we all sacrifice to be here. So if you have decided to do this, you should consider it a priority. Just 2 days in a week, 2 days in a week. And each day is just 2 hours. So if you have decided to do this, you have to give it the required time. Otherwise, from henceforth, in fact, Dr. Lucky used to write down, practically write down those who are present there. And all those who are absent, and make sure they listen to the classes, they make notes, comprehensive notes they're covering from the beginning to the end, and submit it. Otherwise, we will not allow them to continue with us, because we don't want things like that. We don't want epileptic attendance. It shows that the person's interest is not there. So if our interest is so divided that we cannot be focused on the program, then we see how much entangled we are and how much Maya has really trapped us, taking us to a death, point, and we are unaware of it. Maya has captured us imperceptibly. Or better still, we say there's lack of situational understanding. If you are doing something and something else comes into the system, you don't need to abandon what you are doing to go on with your 2 legs pursue. You have to give respect to what you are doing first. if you are arranging a program, if you are attending some other programs, you have to make sure that the first program is respected. That means when you are fixing your time, you fix your time accordingly. If this program is to end by 10 o'clock, then your full engagement over there will be from 10 o'clock. Before then, somebody has to do that service first. Then when you finish with this, you go ahead to join the other. That means mutually you respect this you were into, and you respect the one that you are coming into. But there will be understanding and agreement. That you just abandon what you are doing and you pull out of this. Can you see how many of us are supposed to be here? So this lack of situational understanding must be addressed. It is a reflection of Kanista, an extension of Kanista mentality. And it contributes tremendously to stagnating the movement, Kanista mentality in different phases. Then when we do that, we begin to complain also at the same time, things are not going well. But our commitment is epileptic. It's epileptic. There is no focus. A lens cannot burn unless the rays are focused on a focal point. A lens cannot burn, cannot have any burning effects unless the rays are all converged and focused on a particular focal point. So if you are not focused, you cannot achieve anything substantial in life. Generally, you take part in something small, you abandon, you take part in something, you become jack of all trades, master of none. And that is not a good approach. You take a bite here, you take a bite here, you cannot really have the full taste of any. It's not. So anyway, having said that, that is just a side comment. Let us go into what we are here for. Then we'll make sure that Lucky Osai practically write down the attendance, the names of those who are in the class, so that we know how to follow up those who decide to do otherwise. Okay. It's part of discipline. If you are not disciplined, whatever we are learning is just a waste of time, because it's discipline that will bring the results. So, in our yesterday class, we talked about how Vidya and Avidya, cultivating nescience without proper alignment with the spiritual, bring devastation and take us to lower levels. And we talked about the best use of the bad bargain, the body. That means we have to learn from the miseries of this material world. And I bet old age, disease, and deaths, they are miseries of this material world. But they are not. They don't define us, but they are only reminders. They remind us about our incompatibility with dead matter, the soul's incompatibility with dead matter. Therefore, to make the best use of the bad bargain, we have to engage the body and the senses in the service of the master of the senses. Eriskena, Eriskesa, Sevanam Bhakti Uchate, that is the formula. And also the mind is also part of the bad bargain. So the mind can entangle us and it can liberate us. So we advise to make our minds our friends, not our enemies. Your mind, which is the friend, we encourage you to go into spiritual activities and take them more seriously, knowing fully well that this world is temporary and everything here is temporary. So we talked about this, but we said, but actually, since the soul is in the body maintenance is a necessity, that we have to strike equilibrium. There should be an equilibrium. There should be a proper balance between bodily activities and spiritual activities. We must strike a balance. So the process of Vedic regulation is Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. These four principles are brought into play. Our activities should be regulated by religiosity. Then there will be gradual elevation. There will be gradual elevation. There will be gradual elevation. Therefore, regulated activities are encouraged. Regulated sense gratification is allowed. But we say we have to still be careful because there can still be accident even on an express road. Therefore, we should not get stuck in the basic regulations. The regulations are just a platform for us to start the reading. Let's not forget, we should not get stuck in the basic regulations because the regulations are just a platform for us to start doing the reading. All our determination should be how to go beyond, how to become proper devotees. That will be our focus. So we talked about that. Then we advise that, yes, it is dangerous when we get stuck and take material sense gratification as the goal of life to the neglect of our spiritual goal, purpose in life, self-realization. So don't jump out of the windows. Don't jump out of the windows. Stay regulated in Krishna consciousness. So, okay, having said this, we come to today's mantra 12. Mantra 12. First, mantra 9 and 11, as we said yesterday in the summary, are practically the same. And that in mantra 9 to 11, we had of elevation or degradation based on the activities we perform and the type of knowledge we cultivate. Now, in verse 14 to 12 to 14, like the section has ended, this is the beginning of a new section. Because in the general overview, we said that this portion deals with cultivating knowledge and also cultivating the right attitude. We have dealt with the aspect of cultivating the right knowledge. Now from 12 to 14, we are going to address the side of cultivating the right acts, the right upasana, the right attitude, in order to understand the absolute truth. So, yes, that's why here we are going to see how we may elevate ourselves or degrade ourselves according to what we worship, where we place our faith, who we worship. So basically, we can worship anything, but there are different consequences. There is worship of the demigods, there is worship of the impersonal Brahma, and there are worship of ghosts and spirits. There are all kinds of worship. But here, the focus is on worship of the demigods and worship of the impersonal Brahma. And this will also very much correspond to the person we speak before. The same person absorbed in same gratification. Where does he worship? What does he worship? How does he worship? Who does he worship? See? So this is it. That especially in India, there are a lot of demigod worshippers. There are many demigods, 33 million demigods, and each of them have worshippers. And while worshiping the demigods, they get stumped. They start to think that the demigods are the ultimates, and that's where there's a problem. But here we are going to look at it a little bit more critically. There are some advantages in demigod worship. There are some benefits in demigod worship. Is demigod worship actually totally condemned? We are going to look into that. Is this totally condemned? We're going to look into that. So, yes, let us start with the mantra. Mantra 12. You can unmute and we recite this sloka together. Andam tama pravisanti sambuti ye sambutim upasate tatobuya ibate tamu
You
Sambutyam and Tama
Pravishanti.
Yes, Sambuti
Shanti.
Tatopuyani Patishamo Yahu Sambutyam Make some efforts, okay? Let's make some efforts. Again, for the last time. Andam Tama
Pravishanti.
Yes. Upasate Tatobuya Ibate
Tamo.
Yahu Sambutyam Rata. Yes, just take time and you'll get it. It's just like local language, you pronounce it like local language, then you get it. But we still advise you go to the back pages of Bhagavad Gita, where there is a guide to Sanskrit pronunciation. Then you can learn something. Demigods enter into the darkest region of ignorance, and still more so do the worshippers of the Absolute. Those who are engaged in the worship of the demigods enter into the darkest region of ignorance, and still more so do the worshippers of the Absolute. The previous verse talk about those who cultivate avidya, they go down. Then those who cultivate vidya also still go down. But this one is about worship. So this is about to personal offering our hearts. That offering our head is not enough. Head knowledge is not enough. We have to offer our heart also. Offering our heart means doing the right type of worship that will enable us. So can we read the purport? You can just unmute and read the purport, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
The
Sanskrit word Sambuti means those who have no independent existence. Sambuti is the absolute personality of God. He is absolutely independent of everything. In the Bhagavad Gita, the absolute personality of God, Sri Krishna, positively describes himself in the following words: I am the supreme cause of the powers delegated to the demigods, the great sages and the mystics, and because these are endowed with limited powers, it is very difficult for them to know how I appear myself. By my own internal potency in the form of a man.
Stop. Can you explain what you understand by this?
Okay, one thing I understand here is that the reason we cannot understand Lord Krishna is because we are limited. That is one of the first reasons, and this is a disqualification of trying to claim to become God. So that's what Lord Krishna is trying to say, that is the greatest of all. It's the supreme personality of God, and we cannot understand him since we are limited. So we have to see through the eyes of the scriptures if we want to understand it. We have to follow through the line of discipline section. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Can somebody tell us the difference between Asambuti and Sambuti? Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Asambuti is those that worshiping God, demigods that does not understand the potency of Krishna. While Sambuti are the personality of God's head.
Good. Very good. Can somebody still add more to it? Which aspect of the absolute truth are we talking of? Because here the differentiation is that those who even worship that absolute also will go down. So can somebody tell us the different aspects of the absolutes and why? Hare Krishna.
There are three aspects. We have the Brahma realization, which is the effulgence of the Lord. Then we have the Paramatma, which is the super soul. And we also have the Bhagavan, which the devotees are engaged in worshiping, which is the original personality of God as a person. So the one this mantra is talking about is the Brahma aspect of Brahma realization of the personality of Godhead.
Very good. Does anyone have any contradictory understanding? Do you agree with what he has said? If so, let us read the second paragraph. Let's read the second paragraph.
All philosophers and great wishes or mystics try to distinguish the absolute from the relative by their tiny brain power. However, this can only help them to reach the point of negating relativity without realizing any positive trace.
Stop. Peter, there is some other sound going on seriously. Is there any other sound that is there in the room? It should be muted. Try again. Tell others to mute their microphone, then try again.
I don't have a problem. Is it clear now?
It's a bit better.
I think it's the generator that's on.
Okay, read.
Okay. All philosophers and great riches or mystics try to distinguish the absolute from the relative by their tiny brain power. However, this can only help them to reach the point of negating relativity without realizing any positive trace of the absolute. Definition of the absolute by negation is not a complete concept. Such negative definitions lead one to create a concept of his own, and one then imagines that the absolute must be formless and without quality. But these negations are simply the opposite numbers of the relative forms and qualities, and are themselves therefore relative. By such a concept of the absolute, one can at the utmost reach to the impersonal effulgence of God, known as Brahman. But one cannot make further progress to the stage of Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You can stop. I would have told you to explain, but the sound at your background is terrible. So anyone else explain what you understand by this paragraph, please? What do you understand by this paragraph? Summary. Let me give you a hint. The impersonalists, they go by what God is not. What God is not. God is not this, God is not that, God is not this, God is not that, God is not that. So they pack all the negatives and put on one side, and they remain with the negative there. Their definition of the absolute is based on the negatives that they have piled up. So, but they are on the negative side. Their conclusion is on the negative side. They actually have not addressed the positive. They tell us what God is not, but they have not told us what God is. So it is one-sided, and the conclusion is also one-sided. And because it is based on the negatives, which are relative, it is also relative. So having given that, can somebody explain his understanding of this particular sentence? But these negations are simply the opposite numbers or the relative forms of and qualities, and are themselves therefore relative. Can somebody explain this?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, carry on.
Let me try. He said, these high-ranking people that try to find the truth absolute in their own form, in their own ways. And when they came to realize that, here in mantra, he also mentioned those that go to moon and go to anywhere they wish to, like, using their own means to go. And when they went there, they felt that what they went there to see, it's God. They failed to realize that who creates moon is there, who is the author and the finisher. So they only believe that where they went to and the demigods they went and saw, which they worship, is their God. That is their own belief. So they failed to know that there is someone that created all those things, that those things are under the person. So they also believe that what they see, their own belief, for their own thinking, for their own powers, that what they see right now is what they are worshiping, and that is their God. That is my own belief. And that is my own understanding.
Thank you very much for your understanding. It is true. But can somebody add to it? Bhavananda, can you please add to it? Add to it, unmute and speak.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I would have tried. Okay.
Try now.
Hare Krishna.
But the gene is disturbing. The gene is disturbing.
Okay. But, okay. Bhavananda, please try. In the middle of the purpose, there is this statement that by these negations are simply the opposite numbers of the relative forms and qualities, and are themselves therefore relative. How do you understand this statement, Osnaprabhu?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Okay, what I understand is, let's say the impersonalist, they think that Krishna is just an ordinary and mystic person. And through that, the impersonalists think that through the effulgence, that is the ultimate goal or ultimate realization for them. So the opposite number and relative forms, they think that the Krishna is just a mystic person. And the opposite side, the quality, like if a mystic person exhibits different qualities or mystic powers. So all themselves are therefore relative. It's like opposite the other. How the personalists think about the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, let me not drag on too much. This book comes to this conclusion because it is there in the same purport, the first quarter of the purport, that definitions of the absolute by negation is not a complete concept. They are following this concept of negation, defining the negation by defining the absolute by the process of negation. What God is not. God is not this. God is not that. God is not the body. It's not this. It's not that. But they have not come to define what God is. They end up in the negative. They are in the negative axis, and they made their conclusion on that axis. Therefore, their conclusion is relative. That such negative definitions lead one to create a concept of his own They speculate, they conclude, they don't refer to the scripture there. They just, based on their own thinking or their own mental powers, they try to conclude. So the best conclusion that we have is God is not a person, because that is the axis they are. Even though they know that they are unable to present to us who God is. If God is not this, then God is this. That is how it's supposed to be. So they end up in the negative axis, and therefore they end up speculating. And the conclusion is that God is formless. Then it comes to this particular sentence that, but these negations are simply the opposite numbers or the relative forms and qualities, and are themselves therefore relative. So this is an argument that a preacher can use to defeat people who challenge that God is, the personalists who challenge that God is impersonal. They can stand on these arguments to defeat them. So the further says, by such a concept of the absolute, one can at the utmost reach to the impersonal effulgence of God, known as Brahman. But one cannot make further progress at the stage of Bhagavan, the personality of God. The absolute, the personality of God cannot be understood by mental efforts. So this will be understood. Okay? God cannot be understood by even the demigods. What to speak of ordinary human beings? Even the demigods who are leaders, universal leaders, they are bewildered by who God is. Because unless you become a devotee, Krishna will not reveal himself to you. And they have not surrendered their hearts. They want to understand God with their head, with their intellectual powers. So they get more and more bewildered. You see? So unless one becomes a devotee, you cannot understand the Lord. You have to offer your hearts. And later we are going to learn that even after offering your hearts, God has the right to reveal himself or not. So you have to pray. Those are the last mantras from 15 to 18. You have to pray to the Lord to reveal himself. See, for now, you have offered your head, offer your heart now. Offer your heart and begin to render devotional service. But even with that, you cannot force God to appear. Because God has the right, he can see what you are doing, but he has the right to remain concealed. So you have to make some prayers. Those are the last 3 verses. To make prayers to the Lord. Pray to him to remove his effulgence so that you can see him. So it is only when he reveals his effulgence that you can see him. You cannot force to see him. So this is the point here. So, Stephen Govinda, welcome. And start reading the paragraph 3. Unmute and read paragraph 3.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, and dear devotees. So please, we are on the mantra 12, right?
Mantra 12, paragraph 3 now. Read the paragraph 3.
Okay. So we start from such mental speculators, or?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So such mental speculators do not know that the absolute personality of Godhead is Krishna. That the impersonal Brahman is the glaring effulgence of his transcendental body, or that Paramatma, the supersoul, is his all-pervading plenary representations. Nor do they know that Krishna has his eternal form with his transcendental qualities of eternal bliss and knowledge. The dependent demigods and great sages imperfectly consider him to be a powerful demigod. And they consider the Brahman effulgence to be the absolute truth. But the devotees of Krishna by dint of their surrendering unto him and their unalloyed devotion, can know that he is the absolute person and that everything emanates from him. Such devotees continually render loving service unto Krishna, the fountainhead of everything. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 2 to 23, it is said that only unintelligent, bewildered person driven by a strong desire for sense gratification worship the demigods for the temporary relief of temporary problems. Since the living being is materially entangled, he has to be relieved from material bondage entirely to attain permanent relief on spiritual plane, where eternal bliss, life, and knowledge exist. Sri Ishopanisad therefore instructs that we should not seek temporary relief of our difficulties by worshiping the dependent demigods. Okay, dependent demigods who can only temporarily relieve, okay, who can temporarily benefit. Yeah. Please forgive me, this reading.
Carry on.
Okay. That's it. Rather, we should worship the absolute personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is all attractive and who can bestow upon us complete freedom from material bondage by taking us back to Godhead. Okay. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita 7, verse 2 that the worshippers of the demigods can go to the planets of the demigods. The moon worshippers can go to the moon. The sun worshippers to the sun, etc. Modern scientists are now venturing to the moon with the help of rockets, but that is not really a new attempt. Such with their advanced consciousness, human beings are naturally inclined to travel in outer space and to reach other planets, either by spaceships, mystic powers, or demigod worship. In the Vedic scriptures, it is said that one can reach other planets by any of these 3 ways.
Mama, you wash your hand, go to the church. That is what I say.
But the most common way is worshiping the demigod. Presiding.
Dr. Bright, please. Dr. Bright, mute your mic, please. Mute your mic.
Okay. So we continue. We continue. Okay.
Have you finished the purpose?
No, please. Left with small. So in the Vedic scriptures, it is said that one can order planets by any means of these 3 ways. But the most common way is by worshiping the demigod presiding over a particular planet. In this way, one can reach the moon planet, the sun planet, and even Brahmaloka, the topmost planets in this universe. However, all planets in the material universe are temporary residents. The only permanent planets are the Vaikuntha Lokas. These are found in the spiritual sky.
Okay, it's okay.
These are, okay, just with one sentence. These are found in the spiritual sky, where the personality of Godhead himself predominates, as Lord Krishna states in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay.
Okay, it's okay. Stop first.
Okay.
So, first of all, in paragraph 3,
yes,
there are, what do you understand there? There are people who cannot understand the Lord. That even the demigods, they cannot understand Krishna.
Yes.
Even the demigods cannot understand Krishna. Even Lord Brahma, Lord Indra, they can't understand Krishna. So what to talk of human beings? The process of understanding Krishna is given. It is not through our intellectual powers or mental powers. It is by the process of devotion, becoming a devotee, serving him with all our hearts. Then he reveals himself when he's pleased with us. That is the process. And that's why he said, the absolute truth. Krishna devotees, however, who by dint of their unalloyed devotion surrender unto him, can know that he is the absolute person and that everything emanates from him only. Such devotees continuously render loving service unto Krishna, the fountainhead of everything. So it is through devotion we can understand, not by any other means. And when we understand that this is like a call for us to offer our heart, if we really want to understand Krishna, we have to become devotees. This is just clear. We have to become devotees. And individually, we should qualify our devotional service so that Krishna can reciprocate and in the process reveal himself to us. This is the only process recommended to understanding the Lord. Otherwise, every other effort is bewildered. So in the previous verse, we are advised not to follow the footsteps of Hiranyakasipu. Hiranyakasipu wanted to go to heaven, but he didn't want to follow the process. Understand? He wanted a shortcut. And Jola and Ravana, they were trying to build skyscraper to go to heaven. And he wanted immortality. He really wanted immortality, but he didn't want to follow the real process. And he tried and tried, performed austerity, invoked Lord Brahma, and started cornering immortality. He didn't want to follow the process. He didn't want to become a devotee, but he wanted to go to the kingdom of God. But there's a process for going there. So all his attempts were frustrated. Brahman fulfilled all his desires, his boons, but still Krishna fulfilled all the boons, and at the same time, he killed him. That's why he had to appear as half man, half lion. And he didn't kill him inside the house or outside the house, but he killed him on the doorstep. He was not a beast, he was not a human. He didn't kill him in the day, he didn't kill him in the night. He killed him at the twilight. So this is it. We cannot attain immortality by our own processes. There is a process. So by the same extension, if we want to go to other planets, there is a process of going to the other planets. There is a process. And in the Bhagavad Gita is given that Yanti Deva Vrata Deva, Pitri Yanti Pitri Vrata. Those who worship a particular demigod can go to the planet of that particular demigod. But we should not forget that Brahma Bhuvana Loka, Punavati, starting from heaven down to earth, they are all places of miseries where repeated birth and death takes place. So if you worship a particular demigod and go there, you are still within this dark material world. You are still within this material world that needs the sun to illuminate it. This material world is dark. That's why the sun is needed to illuminate it. So wherever you go within this Brahmanda, within this universe, you are still within this dark material world. Therefore, since it is temporary, this material world is temporary and everything there is temporary. The intelligent man endeavors to go beyond. He wants to go to the place where there is no birth, no old age, no disease, no death. And that is a better destination. So this is the process that is explained. Modern scientists have made all kinds of efforts to go to higher planets. But we see what happened. They just waste lots and lots of money, the people's money, and they die. They have spoiled the whole of Earth, so they want to go to the moon. They want to relocate to the moon. And all their attempts have failed because there is a process for going there. You cannot go there by mechanical means. You have to go there by the process of offering your heart to the personality in charge. Then after you change your body, then you are admitted into that area. You see, so by the same token, when you offer your heart to the right person, when you offer your heart to God, you can go to the kingdom of God after quitting the body. So this is the process. So here in the Bhagavad Gita, is confirmed as follows, that even though one may rise to the highest planets, Brahmaloka, one has to come back again. One has to come back again. But if someone attains to me in the spiritual world, he doesn't have to take his birth again. So this is the kingdom of God. When you go there, you have transcended the cycle of birth and death, and there's no question of coming back. So this is the point. So in the next paragraph, we are going to see how this material world is compared to a coconut. A coconut. You know, in a coconut, there is a shell, there are different layers, but the inside is airtight, it's dark. The inside is dark. And half of the coconut is covered with water. There's water inside the coconut. And the universe is just like that. Half of the universe is covered with water, half is covered with air. But it is airtight, so it's enclosed, and therefore it is dark. And therefore it needs the universe. It needs the sun to illuminate it. But outside of the coconut shell, there is a vast light. And that is the Vaikuntha, the Brahmajyoti, in which the Vaikuntha planets are situated. So this is how the cosmology of this world is. This world, material world, is like a coconut shell. The shape is that of a coconut. It is covered with different layers, and we are inside. Originally, it is dark. Therefore, we need the sun and the moon to illuminate it. But beyond this coconut shell, outside of the coconut shell is the vast, unlimited, effulgence, the rays coming from the body of the Lord, and that is the Brahmajyoti. And if you go beyond the Brahmajyoti, where different Vaikuntha planets are situated, then you now get to Krishna's abode, Goloka Vrindavan. So, Lila Sukha, Prabhu, can you read paragraph 6? Unmute first. Unmute first.
Hare Krishna. Sri Ishopanisad suggests that one remains in the darkest region by hovering over the material planets. Whatever his means may be, the whole universe is covered by the gigantic material elements, just like a coconut ball half filled with water. As it is airtight and fully covered, the darkness within is dense, and therefore planets like the sun and the moon are required to illuminate the inside of the universe. Outside the universe, there is a vast expansion of unlimited Brahmajyoti space, full of Vaikuntha Lokas. The biggest and the highest planet in the Brahmajyoti is the Krishna Loka, or Goloka Vrindavan, where the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, resides. Lord Sri Krishna never quits this Krishna Loka, where he dwells with his eternal associates, and yet he is omnipresent throughout the complete material and spiritual cosmic situation. This fact has already been explained in Mantra 4 of Sri Ishopanisad. The Lord is present everywhere as the sun is. A man can move through space with the highest possible speed, and still he will find that the sun is there, although the sun is situated in its own undeviating orbit. The problem of life cannot be solved by going to the moon. There are many pseudo worshippers who become religionists for the sake of name and fame only. Such pseudo-religionists do not wish to get out of this universe and reach the spiritual sky. They want only to maintain the status quo in the material world under the garb of worshiping the Lord. And the atheist and the impersonalist lead such foolish pseudo-religionists into the darkest regions by preaching the cult of atheism. The atheist directly denies the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the impersonalists support the atheist by preaching the impersonal existence of the Supreme Lord. As far as we have gone through Sri Ishopanisad, we have not come across any mantra where the personality of Godhead is denied. It is said that he can run faster than anyone. Those who are running after the planet are certainly persons. And if the Lord can run faster than all of them, why should he be considered impersonal? The impersonal conception of the Supreme Lord is another phase of ignorance due to an imperfect vision of the absolute truth. And so the ignorant pseudo-religionists, the manufacturers of so-called incarnations, directly violating the Vedic injunctions, are liable to enter into the darkest region of the universe on account of their business of misleading those who follow them. These impersonalists generally pose themselves as incarnations of God to the foolish, who have no knowledge of the Vedic wisdom. And if such foolish men have any knowledge at all, it is more dangerous in their hands than ignorance itself. Such impersonalists do not even worship the demigods as is recommended in the scriptures.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So we can see that the universe is compared to like that of a coconut. The universe is compared to a coconut, the material universe. No light can enter into the coconuts. It is airtight. And this material world is also like that. It's full of darkness. No light can enter into it unless the sun is there. The sun and the moon are there. That's why they are needed. When it is evening from 6:30, you see that everywhere becomes dark. That is how dark the material universe originally is. Then the sun is positioned to give light to it. So it's like the coconuts, whose inside is dark. And because there are so many layers in the coconut, the outer one, the second one, after the outer one, the second layer is brown. The back of the coconut flesh is brown, it's a layer. Before you get to the white one, the thick white one, which is very sweet. So layers upon layers. So also this material universe is into layers. There's a layer of earth, there's a layer of water, fire, air, mind, intelligence, and false ego. All these are into layers, but each one is 7 times thicker than the other. That is how it is arranged. And that is the nature of this cosmos, this material tabernacle. So that is it. But outside of the layer, you have innumerable universes, Vaikuntha universes that are situated within the Brahmajyoti, the effulgence coming out of the Lord. You see? You can understand this. This material world is like a prison within the spiritual world. So when you come out of the prison, you see unlimited light. And there are universes situated in this unlimited light coming out of the body of the Lord. Vaikuntha planets are situated within the Brahmajyoti. But still, among the Vaikuntha planets, where the Krishna Loka itself is the source, where the Brahmajyoti effulgence is coming from. So this is the cosmology of the universe. See? So the personalists can only, by dint of their mental capabilities, they can only see the effulgence and they concluded that God is light. God is light, and there is nothing beyond that. They don't have knowledge about where the light is coming from, and their knowledge ends in the Brahma Jyoti. So they are dangerous. They are considered dangerous here also, that their worshippers go down, because when they attain the light, they remain for some time, then they start manufacturing their own gods, what is ultimate, based on their own, very dwarf intellectual capabilities. So they end up saying that there is no God, and therefore everybody can be gods. They propound, they end up as atheists. So their followers end up as atheists. And where is the end point? The end point is that these impersonalists, sometimes when they get to that peak and remain for some time, they fall down into breaking the principles. They fall down into sex life. They fall down into sense gratification. They disappoint their followers. And when they disappoint their followers very seriously, the sincere ones among the followers become so sad and disappointed that they say there is no God. Because the people they consider as the representative of God have disappointed them. And therefore there is no God. Therefore they conclude that there is no God. So they lead people, sincere people, into atheism. That's why they go to even deeper hell than those who just worship the demigods. So this, even in our movement also, sometimes it is there. When somebody has so much faith in a guru, and he has surrendered to a spiritual master, a guru, then suddenly the guru, somehow or the other, fall. Some become so disappointed that they end up leaving the movement. Some, they gather courage after much encouragement, they take another guru. I've seen somebody who have taken 3 gurus. The first one fell, the second one fell, the third one fell also. so the person just hung. He no longer takes a guru. He's just hanging. He's thinking, he's trying to be calculative, to be able to take, not to make mistake by taking somebody that may fall. So in this way, he's hanging. Now, 3 successive gurus disappointed the person. That person can eventually give up devotional service entirely, because the gurus are supposed to be the representatives of Krishna. So why should the guru, have such problem? So if my guru can have such problem, what is the hope for me? So they decide to hang, and they become atheists. So it is the similar thing. The impersonalists will lead people to the level whereby they themselves will go and fall down. We are talking about the leaders, not the followers. They go and fall down into sense gratification that end up opening big charity homes and start taking care of the bodies of people. Then, without reference to the soul, they start saving the clothes of a drowning man. The drowning man, the soul is drowning, but they are after saving the body. They open hospitals and all kinds of philanthropic homes to address the physical needs of the people without any attempt to addressing the spiritual needs of the people. See, so it leads to the end of there. That is the best. Others become very falling, and their followers become atheists. And for that, their situation is very bad. They go down to the darkest region of hell, for misleading people into atheism. You see? But before that, I want to ask a question. Is demigod worship completely bad? Let us analyze demigod worship. Is it good or bad? Is it completely bad? Demigod worship, is it completely bad?
Yes, demigod worship is completely bad for a devotee.
Okay, for a devotee. That is very nice clause.
Yeah, it's because means it will not make you to have full faith in Krishna. You cannot serve two masters, because if you have two masters, you either please one and displease the other one. So it's always very advisable to only have one master. You cannot please two masters at the same time.
So for a devotee is bad. But what of for those who are not devotees, who are vikamis, who are absorbed in unregulated sense gratification? Is worship of demigod bad for them?
Krishna Prabhu.
Feel free to answer yes, Hare Krishna.
According to Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 21, it says demigod worship are meant for less intelligent people. So in other words, it is bad.
But what are the less intelligent people? What program do you have for them?
We should engage them in Krishna consciousness.
They are so less intelligent. Don't you think that there's something good about worshiping our demigods for them? Because wait, let me elaborate. Because in the worship of the demigods, there is a sense of accepting authority. And these demigods are also representatives of Krishna for those who want material things. So if we are all like the prodigal, in case of the prodigal son, we are left our father's house and we are lost in the wilderness of sense gratification. And we come to see our father's representative as a demigod who is in charge of what we are looking for. Who are ministers in charge of what we are looking for: material opulence, economic development, business, prosperity, good marriage, and all that. Then we try to approach that person. We didn't know that he's connected to the Supremo, that is a minister on behalf of the Supreme, but we approach him and we serve him, we follow his conditions so that he can give us, some blessings to fulfill our desires. Is it bad for such a person?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
We, the devotee, we feel that it's bad for a devotee, but for them, they did not understand that way. Since they did not understand the presidency of Krishna, so they felt that what they are doing is the right thing, because what they are seeking for, they have it in what they are doing. So they are feeling that what they are doing is the right thing. While we here, devotee, we are feeling that we serving Krishna is the right thing, which is the author and the finisher.
Okay, thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you. Is it not therefore better for we devotees to think that this demigod worship is good for those who are complete kamis, since it's going to gradually elevate them, because by fulfilling their desires, by getting them the riches they want, they develop a sense of accepting authority. Though unknown to them, this authority is a representative of the Supreme. So by accepting this authority, they gradually, begin to get purification until eventually they realize that, but this person is also getting his energy from somebody. Why don't I directly worship that source and also get it directly? Then he begin to look for that source until he finally meet the devotees, and the devotees introduce him to Krishna. And don't you see gradual progression in that process also? Therefore, demigod worship as Krishna's own Sankirtan arrangement. Krishna Govinda, Stephen Govinda. Your name is eager to change itself.
Hare Krishna.
It's left for you to agree.
Yes, Prabhu. So
maybe after doing your IDC course.
Yes, it will change. Definitely. I'm looking forward to that. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So I think for a Vaishnava to worship a demigod, that is a bad bargain, because you have the president. So going back to worship a minister is undoubtedly bad. But most of us who are coming from Islamic background, Christian background, like the Christians, they worship the effulgence of the Brahman, the light. So for them to worship a demigod, it's an upgrade or an elevation. So since this human form is designed for elevating of the soul, then worshiping a demigod somehow or other is a benefit. Is kind of eye-opening realization until you become a Krishna devotee. Then you perfectly understand all the process that you went through before getting to this utmost devotional service. So the main purpose, and also as a devotee, I've heard of incidents where devotees have to offer prayers to Lord Hanuman by reciting the Hanuman Chalisa for a good devotional service, because Lord Hanuman is one of the personalities who can actually empower someone to become a good devotee of the Lord. So even if a Vaishnava, for me, I think even if a Vaishnava want to worship a demigod, the mentality should be pure. The purpose should not be for material gain, but for spiritual empowerment. Then that will determine whether what you are doing is bad or wrong. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. If assuming you are in a class, you are a student in the university, and in 100 level, you score 40%. You score 40% in your English. And someone else scores 80% in the same English. Then in your next exams, in 200 level, you score 60%, from 40 to 60. And the one who scored 80 also scored 60. So one is elevation. The one who scored 40 before that now scored 60 is elevation. But the one who scored 80 before, but is now scoring 60 is a degradation. So looking at it from that angle, if somebody is already a devotee, is compared to the one that has scored 80% in the previous exams. And if he comes back down to start worshiping the minister, he was worshiping the president before, now prime minister, now he's now serving the minister. It's like a demotion. But from one who was serving the ordinary assemblyman, which is 40% in the previous exam, but now 60% serving the minister, to him is elevation. So, yes, let me not conclude yet. So, how do you see it? Bhavananda Prabhu, say something.
Hare Krishna. My concern is about the demigod worship. It's like if the person is a canista or a neophyte, and maybe doesn't know anything about Krishna. His goal is to serve the demigod to gain material success. And he became realized that Krishna is the supreme. Because to attract Krishna is not easy. But through worshiping the demigods, they can accept permission or forgiveness to attract Krishna. Let's say Lord Shiva. Those who worship Lord Shiva, some of them serve Lord Shiva for material gain. Some of them serve Lord Shiva to attract Krishna. It's all depend upon the consciousness the person is using to attract that demigod to achieve Krishna. So demigod worship is not bad for devotee also. Because let's say a Grasha in ashram, he know that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. He worship, he follow the principles. But let's say we have a specific demigods, let's say Lord Shiva, Ganesh, and otherwise, etc. So those demigods also have their duty to perform in this material world or this universe. So if the devotee have that compassion, you know that Krishna is the ultimate, but through that he can attract Krishna more. Worshipping the demigod, he can attract Krishna more. Hare Krishna.
Okay, like he worship a particular demigod, like the case of the gopis, they were worshiping goddess Katyayani so that they can get Krishna. So if a devotee approaches a particular demigod, seeing him as a devotee, who can help him, become a better devotee. Then if you worship him as a devotee, as a senior god brother, he renders service to him as a senior god brother, who he considers to be a kind of senior canister, so that he can get a little elevation, he can get a little push. Then I think it's not bad. But I'm not concluding yet. We are going to conclude it together. But if you see the demigod as the ultimate goal, and worship him as the supreme, then I think it is bad. But if you offer food to Krishna and you also offer the remnants, the prasada to your Anuma, I think there is nothing wrong. Or if you give banana to Hanuma to offer to Lord Ramachandra on your behalf. Anyway, we are still considering. Later, after considering the pros and cons, then we can draw a conclusion. But for now, we are evaluating the system. Now, let me give a more clearer evaluation to it before we draw the conclusion. We are all prodigal sons. The biblical analogy of the prodigal son. We are all from God, but we are now in this matter. We have strayed away from our homes, from our father's kingdom, and we are now prodigal sons in this material world. And because the father has so much love for his children, he will not want any of his children to go away, as many as we are. He makes arrangement to trap us all. He has made arrangement to trap us wherever we are going. Unseen by us, he has situated a mechanism that will monitor us, monitor our desires, and trap us through our desires. We say have desire for sense gratification, we have desire for this. He positions a particular demigod there. So that particular demigod will now fulfill that your desire. I say, hey, so there is authority. So these higher authorities, they are powerful. You see demigod are powerful and start worshiping. They have developed a sense of accepting authority now. Then he worship that demigod, not knowing that that demigod is part of the arrangement, Sankirtan arrangement of the Lord. The Lord has thrown a net, and that particular demigod is positioned to trap that soul. So the soul came, and demigod fulfilled his desire and drag him gradually. He started worshiping. He has a company. He has company, like somebody was a brahmachari before. He want to become a grihastha. So he need to work in companies in order to make money. And not knowing that that company also belongs to the father. Indirectly, the minister is managing it on behalf of the father. So he goes here to work. To him, he has gotten his independence from the father. And he wants to be on his own, want to get money and live his own life. But the father has made that arrangement. He has created the company. He has put the minister in charge, the demigod in charge as the minister. And this person, he got to there. He filed application. He's employed in the company. He started working monthly. He's been given salary. He's been given salary, and he used that to maintain himself, thinking his independence at the same time, but not knowing that it's the father's arrangement to trap him. So after working in the company for some time, he come to realize that but who has that this company? Because the way I'm seeing this manager, It's like he's not the owner. I used to hear him talking about director. Who is that director? So he makes a plan. He wants to see the director. Then to his surprise, this director is his father. The minister succeeded in bringing him back into the kingdom of the father, but he has not exposed him to the father directly. But before he was in the wilderness, outside of the father's kingdom. But the minister, through this desire, has fetched him, and he brought him back to the kingdom of the father. And now, in the father's kingdom, he started employment in this company. He worked in this company until now. We come to realize that the actual owner of the company is his father. Then he wants to, why don't I go to my kingdom? This is where I actually left from. When I was in the palace, I was enjoying like anything. We were enjoying anything that they give to the king. We get our own portion. And when the king finishes it, we get a remnant. And that remnant is more than what my minister, the manager of this company, is giving me. Why don't I go there back? Then he goes back, and reluctantly went there. He opened the gates. The father saw him. He said, "Oh boy, you are back." He do as if he didn't see him. Then looking down, doing something. The boy is coming gradually. Then he said, "Oh yeah, you, my devotees, devotees, all of you go and bring that guy here." Then devotees went and surrounded him with Ketan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Before he realized, he started dancing. Then they bring him to the father. They all offer obeisances there. And all the obeisances you can take, all the mantras you can take of. The father raised up there. Hey, Bhuvanapati, is it you? Lucky, Bhakta, lucky. You are still maintaining this name you got from that place. Your original name is looking at Das. Looking at you have come.
Prabhuji, this story there is like you are directing it to me straight forward.
No, we are only analyzing the situation. Because some of us used to see these demigods as completely bad, and when we say demigod worship, without going to the principles, we conclude. Yeah, that is the general essential statement, but there are principles, there are ways of approaching things in the minor details. Before you can conclude that something is bad or good, you have to look at the content. You have to look at the things surrounding the whole thing before you conclude. So that's why we are making this analysis. Until now, we have seen Bhuvanapati come back, and his father has seen him and said, "Hey, Bhuva, hey, welcome. Look at you are still bearing that other name that you got in the process of looking for some gratification. Is that what you are still bearing? Do you like what you are bearing?" No. Your name is looking at. Then Stephen Govinda said, "Oh, no, this is not what is Stephen. Your name is Satya Narayan." Say, Robert Na. Say, what kind of name is this? Your name is Ramachandra. Welcome. Oh yeah, throw a party for this soul that has come. Then they throw a very big feast. Gula Jami, Rasa Gula, no, even what do they call it? Swallow. They even offer swallow, with fufu, with wagasi or wara floating inside the soup. And there's serious demonstration of everything. Gula Jami, Rasa Gula, Badas, all the preparation you can think of. Then heavy Ketan party entertainment. The ladies come and sing and dance. Then this boy is in the center, is now wearing some crown, like somebody's birthday is being celebrated. And is reinitiated. So in the process, it's welcome back. Then others in will say, we have been here since. And this our father did not throw any party for us. This one that even left the movement for a long time, he come back and the guru is celebrating like this. What is this? That means he's valued more than us. Guru said, no. You are already here with me. This one has lost contact for a long time. He's back. So let us welcome him. We are his brothers. So in this way, they welcome him. They all partake in the prashadam and they regain the soul back. Is demigod worship all bad? It's bad for the non-devotees. You know, it's bad for the devotees, those who already become devotees, who are already in the kingdom or the Father, with the Father. But it's good for the prodigal son, isn't it? What do you think?
Yes, it is.
It is, isn't it? I think it is.
It is.
That for the devotees already in the Father's kingdom is bad. But for the prodigal son is good.
Yes.
So it depends on the level. Depends on the level. And it depends on the level of where we are in. We are already in contact with Krishna consciousness. So why should we go down to start worshiping demigods? For what? We can only recognize them as our senior God brothers and give them Krishna Prashadam so that they can eat and also bless us to become better devotees. We cannot minimize them. They are senior to us. They have more knowledge. Will you minimize a senior devotee? You don't need to minimize any senior devotee under any circumstance. They are senior devotees to you. They may have some desires, and therefore they are put in some managerial positions. You have to respect them, so that you can also become a better devotee and a pure devotee in due course of time. So I think this is the way we should see the demigods. That means that's it. What do you conclude? All of you, what do you conclude?
All glories. I would like to make a little contribution to that.
Okay.
Just like what you have been saying and trying to explain to them, which is very nice. So also I would like to say that just because we are devotee and we are not supposed to worship demigod doesn't mean that sometimes when we go to some program, when we have all these demigods, you now look down on them as if they are your mates or you are higher than them. Where you never know anything, where you never reach anywhere. Yeah. So when you enter such temple, you pay respect to them like big ministers, bow down, offer prayer to them. Please give me Krishna love. Not sometimes sarcastically we go into the temple where there is demigods, you look down on them as if they're your mate. So we should, when we enter a demigod's temple, we should behave properly. We should worship them. Even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was traveling, when he will come in Lord Shiva's temple, he will pay obeisances very nicely. He will offer prayer to Lord Shiva to give him Krishna's love. When he goes to the temple of Lord Durga, he will offer prayer there to give him Krishna's love. So when we come across demigods, we should not look down on them. They are great personality. They are far, far, far higher than us. We have not even realized who we are. We are just trying. And then we now look down on the demigods. So we should be very careful how we look at the demigods. They are very great personalities. We should pray to them to bless us so that we can be fixed in our devotional service. Just because we are trying to be devoted doesn't mean that we are higher than them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for this most informed conclusion. Very, very nice advice. Even sometimes when we go on parikram, we visit some demigods with the gurus and all the devotees. We offer donations, we take charamrita, we hear about the pastimes of that particular demigod. Demigods are devotees. They are devotees, high quality devotees, but they have some little material desire. The Lord select the best among those and give them universal position. Before somebody is choosing to be a president somewhere in a country, it's a big position, but these are ministers in the universe. So undoubtedly, they are very big devotees, but they have materialistic inclination. That's why even when they do something wrong, Krishna just chastise them and reinstate them. You are devotees. They are devotees in the making, like you and me. But they are big devotees. They started a long time. You are just trying to start now. And you know, most of you also started a long time. Bhuvan Party, you should make a contribution first. Unmute first.
Yes. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Please, is question allowed?
Yes.
All right. So thank you very much. Please, my question is, you see, you are a devotee and you are into this spiritual practices like astrology and those stuff. And I've seen that some of those devotees, after they've gone for training, they normally, some of them, they are being given a particular demigod to take care of that side of activity. So if you're a devotee, you know Krishna as the Supreme Personality, but because of that particular work you are doing, you have to be committed to that demigod also. And in that case, you have to give him everything so that your work can also go on. So that, what is the complication there? Because if you don't take care, because he is also working for you at that side of your service, maybe there can be some problem. So
Yeah.
I want clarification.
It's true,
from
there
there.
could be some problem. What do you think, devotees? I throw the question to all of you. What do you think about this powerful question? Because in the process of recognizing that deity, one can get so distracted that the sadhana to that particular extra deity becomes more important. And when there's a conflict in timings, you better abandon, you will abandon the Krishna worship, and you, instead of Mangalati, you are doing your private puja to the demigods, and things like that can happen. And so what do you think about this kind of situation? Is it risky to accept deities like that, or is there a way we can manage it? Or should we only offer prasadam to the prasadam from the main deity to them, and not to serve them separate prasad? Or what do you think? How do we practically implement this kind of understanding? Feel free to speak out. Feel free to speak up, Bhavananda Prabhu and Lila Sukha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I have a little contribution to that question. It's all depend upon how you plan, how you target, or how you manage your time to serve both the ultimate God, Krishna, and the demigod. So if you have a plan for that, or you are arranged for that two duty or activities, you can able to serve perfectly. And if it is not a properly time, there will be conflict. You know that there will be conflict beside that. So all depend upon how you plan and determine to serve properly. Yeah, that's my contribution to that.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, by extension, to make the field broader for you, like somebody who is already a devotee goes for some training, and in the process of the training, he has to take a specific guru, a situational guru, to teach him that, and the guru gives recommendation that you should wear a particular type of earrings. Because for decency as devotees, we don't want to look like rascals, wearing earrings here and there, like all these Mongolians. But here, your ritualistic guru has recommended that you should wear a particular earring, and you have to obey him and become a pure devotee of him in order to get his blessing. So in not wanting to miss the blessing, you pierce your ear, which makes you look like as if you're a woman. And there are cultures that frown on it. And you are also still a devotee wearing this is representing the movement. And you create more challenges for yourself. But when people see these earrings, they ask you so many more questions. Some they consider you like homosexual. They consider you gay. Just because you are wearing it. Meanwhile, you have a different intention for wearing it. But outwardly, the projection is that you are like a gay. And they look at you scornfully. You want to give them books, the intelligent ones, so they will not want to do anything. They don't understand, and they don't want to understand, and they don't want your association. So Just an addition for you to consider how to advise in this situation. Or Indians, for instance. Indians, most of them are they have demigods in their homes and they worship. And they come around. How do we try to see them? Some of them are sincere devotees, but they have their deeper understanding why they keep demigods. Should we offend them by thinking them as demigod worshippers, or should we just be careful around them? All these components, consider them, then give your suggestion. Stephen Govinda.
Hare Krishna. Please, that question was very clear. And I think that getting attracted to the flowery portion of the Vedic is something we should be very careful for. Last Sunday, Prabhu, you preached about this, and I think our desire is something that should be properly balanced for us not to fall into such delusions. Because let's say as an astrology, a particular deity have been prescribed to you to help your astrological work. You should be intelligent to know that that occupation is temporary, and that your mission on earth is to achieve Krishna Prema, like to be able to go back to Godhead. So if you allow yourself to be deluded or illusionary, fall into astrological benefit, and now you begin to put Krishna aside and do your astrological work, it's a delusion. It's an illusion. So we should know how to balance this attachment and unattachment. You know, we should be attached to Krishna and be unattached to material possessions or material world. So I think we should be just intelligent. And how can we become intelligent? By taking the study of the Vedic scriptures very seriously. So we know what is good and what is bad. I think.
Thank you very much. I don't think there can be any other advice better than this. This is scriptural advice, you know, very beautiful. But what about my fame? The fame I get for being a full astrologer, do I throw away my fame and name and, you know, the services I'm receiving from people? Should I not just keep doing, because I want to maintain my position, appear dignified and well respected in society? I already have followers. What do I do? Should I minimize myself for my followers to minimize me? Or I should maintain that pride also at the same time, see how to balance my level? We have 3 more minutes to deliberate on this, then after which I'm going to make a summary.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Let me contribute something there. But I want to use a description from Bible. There is a man that was captured in the way of Damascus called Saul. And he was a demigod worshipper. He was also a lawyer. And he believed on his own demigod worshiping. He believed with his own powers. But he failed to understand the power of God. And his work was, he was against the children of God. By killing them, anytime they assemble, he will just go there and destroy them, scattered everywhere. But one day, God had to arrest him through Jesus by using light to arrest him on the way and blind him. Now confirmed him to become God worshipper. He now directs him to meet somebody who will pray for him and reopen his eye again. From that day, he was a full servant of God, preaching gospel to people. That same person that was educating children of God, he was a preacher. So I think in this case, a worshiper, a demigod worshiper can also be changed to be a Krishna preacher, to bring soul into the kingdom of Krishna. But
thank you very much. Very beautiful.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Very, very beautiful. Because we are here. Let us make local examples so that we can relate to them. And this is very, very beautiful. Yes, we have all heard that demigod worship is temporary. The worshippers of demigod worship, the worshippers of demigods attain a temporary destination. But the demigods and their worship and everything around them is also temporary. They are within the shell of the coconut. They are not outside the shell. They are within the shell of the coconut. So their worshippers cannot go beyond them. And if our ultimate destination is to go beyond and enter into the spiritual world, then we have to be extremely careful how we try to integrate the material and the spiritual, how we want to balance our bodily needs and the sense gratification needs and our spiritual life. We have to be very, very careful. So we should know the boundary, we should know how to manage our time, we should know, but we should never forget that these demigods are servants of Krishna. So if you are less intelligent, less evolved, it is accepted you accept demigods and get their guidance, and so you recognize that there's a higher authority, you can be gradually elevated. But if you are already a devotee, what need is there? If you are a devotee and because of your financial needs, you go and learn some kind of occupation that demands the worship of some demigod, you have to be very careful from the onset. Because whatever you can acquire from there, including your household life and your everything you can get there, is temporary. So you do not, because of temporary recognition and fame and worship of people, trade your eternal treasure or devotional service. You have to be careful to maintain a balance so that you will, if you have to fall, you will fall on the side of devotional service. You know, it's very, very risky. Only a few people can manage it properly. And therefore, those who manage it, who can go into that, they get the blessing of their guru, and the guru gives them extra guidance. He gives them extra austerities to perform, and they perform those austerities in addition. If he can tell them to increase their ranks to maybe 32 or 24, they should be able to do that first before they do other things. They have to be careful the way they manage and maintain the balance. Buba, let this be the last comment so that I want to summarize. You are muted.
Hare Krishna, please forgive me. It's a question again, if it's allowed. Yeah.
Okay, we'll try to answer it briefly.
All right. So thank you very much. So suppose I was a very pure demigod worshiper. I have my deities and everything. And I've been doing this, and the demigods are so happy with me, and everything is going on. Like in relation with the Vrajavasis and King Indra. You understand? So somehow or other, Krishna has come to give us realization that we have to offer everything to Govardhan. So now, with these deities and everything, in relation to the Vrajavasis and King Indra, when they tried to divert the offering, Indra was very angry, and he tried to punish them. So if my demigod is very happy with me, I'm offering everything to him, and now I've got realization to offer to Krishna, won't the demigod be annoyed, like in the case of Indra and the Vrajavasis? Hare Krishna.
If the demigod is annoyed, that means that demigod is falling short of his devotional service. Krishna needs to teach him a lesson. Since it is not the demigod that can teach Krishna a lesson, at the time of conflict of interest, it's Krishna who can teach the demigod a lesson. Therefore, the safer thing is to be more on Krishna's side, so that if any lesson is to be taught, your Krishna will teach the demigod a lesson and let him know that, yes, Oga, you are careless. You are very, very careless. You don't know who I am. just as he did to Indra. Just as he did to Indra. He made Indra realize that you are careless. Do you know who I am? Just because I'm acting as an ordinary small boy, you are coming to trying to control me. Have you forgotten yourself? Then he chastised, he humiliated him. Then Indra came to his senses and he started offering obeisances, begging in secret and every other place. Please, I'm very sorry. But the devotees, they stood their ground. They stayed with Krishna. They stayed under the Govardhan umbrella. And, Indra was taught the lesson. Indra is also a devotee. When you are giving very big services, it is very easy for you to think yourself to be what you are not. And when that is happening, since Krishna wants to save you, he will devise a means to remove that false pride in the demigods. So the hunger of the demigods means nothing to a devotee. Let the demigod be hungry. But you have to also hold on to Krishna very seriously. Otherwise, if you joke with your devotional practices, at the same time you try to minimize the demigods, he can chastise you and chastise you successfully. Your security is to make sure that you follow your Paka. You are a Paka follower. You intensify your devotional service. If you are chanting 10 rounds, you chant 20. If you are chanting 20, you chant 30. In that way, you become more attentive, following all the Mangalatic processes, all the Tulasi pujas, watering of Tulasi, attending all Bhagavatam classes, eating only prashadam, not thinking negatively about any devotee. Any little affair, any little inattentiveness, Indra can enter and deal with. In the Bhagavatam, there are cases because they monitor you very well. They are very subtle. You don't see them, but they see you. They even see your mind. Yeah? We say, did your soul. She ate and she forgot to wash her hands. She slept. And based on that, Indra entered into a womb and cut the embryo into pieces because he was to bring a child that is going to, disgrace him. So he tried to attack. And like this. So the challenge is you have to be ready to become very, very Paka in order to survive. And Krishna will protect you if you are making your maximum effort. Having said that, let us summarize. The demigod worshippers, they take the good. If they take the good to be the best and take the best to be even lower, then there is problem. Demigod worship is good, but it's not the best. If you take the good to be the best and even take the best to be lower than the good, then you have problem. Why then are the demigods glorified in the Vedas? That is the question that will arise. Then the answer is that the whole purpose is to elevate people gradually. The whole purpose of demigod being in charge of things is this global Sankirtan arrangement to elevate people gradually. Okay, so because of different natures, people have different natures, people have different inclinations, people have different level of evolution. The Lord is flexible enough to try to accommodate everyone based on their levels. Therefore, he made this arrangement. It's a perfect arrangement by the Lord. He's so he's the author of flexibility, and he knows each and everyone's level of conditioning. But they are all his children who have become conditioned. So he has a plan. He has devised a mechanism to reach out to all of them wherever they are and connect them to himself and gradually bring them. Some will come faster based on their level. Some will come very slowly. But some will become demigod worshippers. Some are direct, they see devotees and they start their devotional service. Depending on the level they are, situationally. The Lord is the author of situational management. Therefore, different strokes for different folks. Only him can manage it so perfectly. And that is why even the pure devotees, when they're able to function according to time, place, and circumstances, they are very highly glorified. So the Prabhupada is most highly glorified because is able to function and apply the principles according to time, place, and circumstances. The purer a devotee becomes, the purer he can adjust everything to suit the time, place, and circumstances. So that is a plus. Special for the pure devotees. Yes. Our able manager has been able to give you seats individually in an auditorium. Wow, that is great. That is great. He put you in an auditorium, give you seats individually. This is his great Kavikanapura. You see potency. God is trying to become a proper representative of the Paramparam. The Paramparam is empowering him to serve you better. Great. Thank you very much. Okay, so we give the story of the prodigal son. This story talks about the selflessness of God's love to the extent that even he loves those who are, he loves every one of these conditioned souls that are lost in the material wilderness. God loves them. And he's already always designing a mechanism to trap them from wherever they are. He gives them the opportunity for gradual elevation. For gradual elevation. This is the Sankirtan arrangement of the Lord. Demigod worship. The people are provided the opportunity to recognize a superior authority, and that will eventually mature them into accepting the authority of God. This is the gradual arrangement. Therefore, demigod worship is the Sankirtan arrangement of God. Yes, all the demigods are not the same, but they are parts of the universal Sankirtan arrangement of gradual elevation. No matter what they're in charge of, they are part of the arrangement, the wholesome total mechanism. Therefore, demigod worship is a universal arrangement by which people can be gradually elevated. The prodigal son comes back to the father through his minister. Ministers in charge of material amenities desired by the prodigal conditioned souls. The minister brings the son back into the kingdom by employing him in his company with payment of salaries. And gradually the son comes to realize that actually the company belongs to his father. And that the minister is simply working for his father as a manager. Then his higher sense of belonging awakened, and he realizes the wholesomeness of directly becoming an instrument in the plan of God. Then he reunites with the father in purpose. This is the whole arrangement. So becoming one with the father in purpose, what does it mean? How can we extend this oneness of purpose, or oneness in purpose, to ISKCON and to our temples and to our individual homes? That is a different subject matter. It's small but big subject matter that we can discuss later. Later we find time to discuss it. This oneness in purpose, how does it translate into our individual devotional life? How can it upgrade our temple management if we have such an understanding? All we are going to discuss. So, becoming one with the Father in purpose, what does it mean? We're going to discuss that later. So, similarly, coming back home, there is a progression. The process of demigod worship is part of the process, we have said it, of the gradual journey of the prodigal soul coming back to his father. So Krishna is the prime minister, while the demigods and ministers working under him are Goranga. You can see the kind of evolved classrooms that you can find yourself when you become a loyalist. Now, you won't have your seats, but all those who didn't attend class today, they have no seats. So next time we'll consider them, we even lock the door and see whether we can allow them to enter one by one. The conditioned souls are all children of God. All conditioned souls, they are all children of God, but they have strayed away. Yes, they have strayed away. Balalila is sitting comfortable on his seat, in his electronic seat. You can see, I am sitting comfortably in my own. Can you see? With a blackboard in front. Very good. So this demigod worship is part of the multi-level worship provided by the Vedas to grant the opportunity for souls in all levels to connect to the worship of God, from wherever they are. It is the flexibility of God to accommodate the different souls based on the individualities and gradually bring them closer to Him. He traps them by His multi-level worship arrangements, multi-level sockets. Multi-level sockets. You can plug your phone, whether it's Nokia, whether it's Samsung, whether it is Alcatel, whether it's Infinix. You can plug your phone and it will work. So the Lord is such very diverse personality who loves everybody. So Krishna is making himself accessible to everyone through the demigod worship. Therefore, demigod worship is the manifestation of Krishna's compassion towards the prodigal conditioned souls, you and me. Krishna is so eager to reach and reclaim the prodigal souls that he does not care whether they worship him directly or they start by worshiping demigods, but his arrangement is there to elevate them gradually. Okay? He makes the arrangements. Therefore, whether the worship of the demigods, whether the worship of the demigod is good or bad, is based on the level of the person's evolution. If somebody is already a devotee, if people are on some level, worship of the demigods is desirable, but if they are on some other level, it is undesirable. Therefore, we give the example of the students in the class who scored 40 before and later scored 60, and the other one who scored 80 before, who's already devotee, going back to score 60, going back to demigod worship. So it's not good for the devotees, but it's good for the vikamis. But it is also manageable for devotees if the devotees see demigods as senior devotees. Okay? So in this way, we say those who are already devotee, demigod worship is a degradation, but for a gross sense gratifier of vikamis, demigod worship is an elevation. But in both cases, demigod worship is condemned, generally considering the fact that we are talking from the point of view of a devotee going back to worship demigods. And then on the other hand, worship of the impersonal Brahma is also incomplete because it is only a partial realization of God, the outermost realization of God. But beyond that, there is Paramatma realization, there is Bhagavan realization. As Bhaktas, our goal is to become Bhagavan realized so that our individuality is maintained even after liberation. So we continue to serve the Lord in the kingdom of God. There's a relationship. Either you become a friend of God, father of God, boyfriend and girlfriend of God, and a servant of God, or the Lord sleepers in the spiritual world, or grass in the spiritual world. There is a relationship. So this is our own level. I wanted to show the PowerPoints, but we'll just use it as a refreshment during our next class. So for now, we can call it a quit. Once again, we thank you very much for sacrificing to come. Today is part of Jamasami in many places, and for lack of proper management, many devotees could not manage themselves and to be here. That's why we have few. So those of you who are able to make it, we recognize you seriously. And we thank you very much. And we recommend you for the program, continuous blessings. You are blessed. Even those who came halfway, they are still blessed. Even those who came in halfway and one of them are left, they are still blessed. So we recommend you for a continuous blessing, and we also participate on Sunday. Thank you very much.
So, Papa, devotees are now signing up for ISKCON Disciple course. And some devotee also, the ISKCON Disciple course is here. And also, this evening we are having His Grace Harishakra Prabhu on understanding Krishna consciousness, Christianity, and Islam. Many devotees have already signed up for that, but for ISKCON Disciples course, the devotees should try to sign up for it so that they can understand the Guru and Disciple Tattva more and more.
Yeah.
So, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very, very much. Today's course, please, we want every devotee to come in. We can send the link to everybody, but we don't want to do that because we want to do proper data collection. That's why we are directing you to register through the form so that we can do proper data collection. You see, but we can share the link openly for everybody and more people will join, but we want to take proper record. So kindly do yourself good and help us to serve you better by just clicking few details you need to put in the form. Then you are there. We add you to the group. Because we are going to send the link to only the group. We are not sharing the link generally. We are sharing the link in the group only. And we want all of you to be there. So kindly do us a favor and do yourself.
And also the Bhakti Shastri Prabhu. The devotees who are participating in Bhakti Shastri, they are not signing up. These things are very easy to do. You just click on the link, go there, fill on your details. It's very good. You know? That's why some people they go and pay people to help them to fill form if they want to travel or they want to do small things. Because you don't play around with these things. Play around with it, fill the forms. Click on it, fill the forms, play around with it. It enhances your knowledge of technology more and more. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. I think for the Bhakti Shastri one, it's my fault. 80% of it is my fault because we already give them a less evolved form to fill. Before we ourselves became evolved, we already gave them a very dull physical form to fill. And they pass through all kinds of rigorous processes to fill it and send it and scan it and all that. So that's why they're thinking that it will be like double filling of form. So that's why some are reluctant. But I think they should forgive me. We keep the physical copies, but we want the evolved form of registration too, which is the form is on the poster. You can click the form, go there and still fill in your details. So as we are going on, rest assured, they will all come on board, they will fill the form. And we talk about it in every class. So that is what we are going to do. So even those who have filled the dull physical form can still fill. We have gone beyond physicality now. You know, people are occupying spaces in many offices. And after some time, they just gather them together and burn them. So everything has gone electronic. The office is very clean. There are no papers, but every data is in the computer. So this is the evolved level. We're not as evolved as this when we started campaigning for this current Bhakti Shastri. But by the grace of the group around, we have evolved. We are technologically evolved. We are not adamant to changes. We are flexible to accommodate evolution. So change is constant. Now there is a change. So even those who have registered, they should still fill the form through the poster, the link on the poster, so that it will be easier for data collation. As you fill the form automatically, it enters into a spreadsheet where it is easier to manage. We can continue to fill your other emerging levels for as long as you are with us. So kindly bear with me and come on board. Thank you very much. Having said that, we say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Vanchakapatarvya Chakri Pasanibya Sabata, Pachitana, Vaishnava Bhyo. Confounder Charas Laisi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Bhakti Shastri Ki Jai. The students Ki. Bhakti Shastri students Ki. The Pujaris among them Ki Jai.